Good day everyone, I am Avenil B. Paway and this is my co-teacher Irene Barong.
A pleasant day, everyone. I am Irene May Obarong from BSed English 2B.
Today, we will be discussing the article Testing Without Talking and presenting strategies to address the challenges it raises in language education. Let's begin with teacher Irene.
A pleasant day, everyone. I am Irene May Obarong from BSed English 2B. Our presentation today tackles a critical issue in language education on how we assess language proficiency. We're focusing on the challenge presented by testing without talking, where an over-reliance on written assessments leads to silent accuracy, but often leaves students struggling in real-world communication scenarios. The problem is clear, wherein students can perform well on written tests, yet freeze when faced with oral tasks. In this presentation, we will explore how to better align testing with real communication by diagnosing, planning, creating a blended intervention, justifying, and addressing potential risks. Let's begin our exploration of this important topic. First, diagnosis. Identify the main problem and theory that explains it. The main problem in the situation that was given is that written-only assessments don't reflect real-world communication skills, leading to students' difficulties in oral tasks. For example, a student in a language class is a genius in written exams but struggles to speak during group activities despite knowing the answers. This can be explained by the sociocultural theory, which emphasizes that language learning occurs through social interaction and collaborative communication. Second is plan. One classroom action each for behaviorism, cognitive, nativist, and interactionist theories. First, classroom action related to behaviorism. We can implement a drill and practice activity where students repeat and memorize common phrases used in oral communication. For example, the teacher says, "Learning is a process," and then class repeats, "Learning is a process" several times. Next, classroom action related to cognitive. We can use problem-solving tasks that require students to use language to discuss and find solutions together, focusing on understanding and applying language rules. For example, the teacher asks, "How can we reduce plastics use in our classroom?" And then students must brainstorm solution in English. The third one is classroom action related to nativist. We can create opportunities for free conversation where students can naturally use their innate language abilities without explicit correction, encouraging them to generate novel sentences. For example, the teacher says, "Talk about your favorite food," and then students chat in pairs using new vocabulary. Lastly, we have classroom action related to interactionist. We can facilitate group projects that require students to negotiate meaning, ask for clarification, and work together to complete a task, promoting language development through social interaction. For example, a group of students plan a surprise birthday party for the teacher, dividing tasks and communicating in English to keep the plan secret. And now, let me call on the next teacher to discuss another thing about this wonderful topic. Teacher Avenil Paway.
We've explored behaviorism, cognitive, nativist, and interactionist approaches separately. Now, let's blend them together to create a comprehensive strategy. Now, here are the 5 steps. First is vocabulary and phrase introduction in behaviorism. Begin with a list of essential vocabulary and phrases related to specific topic. Students repeat and practice these phrases through choral repetitions and drills. Second, comprehension and applications. This falls under cognitive. Present a short text or scenario using the introduced vocabulary. Students answer comprehension questions and engage in problem-solving tasks related to the text. Third, we have free expression. This falls under nativist. Provide a structured discussion activity where students can freely use the new vocabulary and phrases to express their opinions and ideas about the topic. And the fourth is interactive task. This falls in the interactionist theory. Assign a group project that requires students to use the language to negotiate, collaborate, and present their findings to the class. And the fifth plan is feedback and review. Provide a feedback on students' language use, focusing on both accuracy and fluency. Review and reinforce the key vocabulary and phrases. So that's the 5 plan that we integrate, connecting and blending the 4 theories. Now, why does this work? This blend approach works because it combines structured practice and opportunities for natural communication, addressing different aspects of language learning. Now we have 2 measurable outcomes. Now, these are the 2 measurable outcomes. First, it increases students' participation in oral activities measured by the frequency and length of contributions. Second, we have it improves scores on communicative tasks such as role plays or presentations, assessed using a rubric that evaluates fluency, accuracy, and coherence.
Lastly, we have risk and fix. Note 1, possible failure and adjustment. The possible failure for this given situation or problem is that students may still feel anxious or unmotivated if they perceive the activities are artificial or disconnected from their interest. For example, students are bored with a textbook dialogue about visiting a museum because they would rather discuss trending topics on TikTok.
Another risk and fix is adjustment. Incorporate more authentic materials and tasks that reflect real-world communication scenarios, such as debates on current events, interviews with guest speakers, or simulations of workplace interactions. So that's it for this article. Thank you for listening and watching. Hope you learned something.